Hi, it's Rob Bryanton, and welcome back to the Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog, coming to you from Talking Dog Studios, which is my studio here in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. We do music and audio for films and television shows here, and this little green studio is an experiment that we're doing to expand the capabilities of the studio. You can see the logo for the studio here is this bone in a speech balloon, which I always thought was a really clever little play on the idea of Talking Dog Studios, and ties into a personal obsession that I've had with dogs for most of my life, I would say. Today's video blog entry you can read along with at 10thdimension.com/blog. It's dated June 2nd, 2008, and today does tie into the idea of dogs. It's called Being More Fifth Dimensional. Back in March 2007, I wrote a blog entry called Death, in which I played with the idea that dogs might be more tuned into what I often refer to as the bush-like branching structure of possible futures from the fifth dimensional probability space that we're each navigating through. Here's a quote from that blog entry. I'm reminded of Al Gore's story, where he said, "It was like a man from the future came back to tell me what the bad things were that were going to happen." Warnings from the future can come in many shapes and sizes. Dogs use well-developed senses like smell and hearing, which are better at telling the future than the more immediate senses such as touch or taste. By the time you can touch or taste impending death, it's probably too late. If you can smell trouble brewing, you stand a better chance of survival. Are dogs from a bit in our own future then? Sure, if you like to think of it that way. The early warning system that a dog can provide is not that different from Al Gore's Man from the Future, because dogs sometimes know when bad stuff is going to be happening before the rest of us do. Being able to smell things or hear things that are further away in time and space than what we humans are capable of gives them that power. Okay, so now here's a few quotes from the 1993 Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, Kary Mullis. "I think there is so much more in existence besides matter, energy, and time. 19th century physics had those in an orderly arrangement, but it is too weird to be just that. If you think about yourself as something going through time, how thick are you? You've got to have a certain finite thickness in time, or you wouldn't exist. So you might be a fraction of a second, or a second wide, or 5, sliding through time. It might be that certain parts of you are weeks, months, or years wide. Or maybe some part of you is now all the time, from your birth or even before your birth to your death. Some part of you is in the future at any moment, and some part of you is in the past, because you couldn't possibly be just in the infinitesimally thin thing that we call now, because there wouldn't be room for you in there." Okay, so these Kary Mullis quotes are from a book I've mentioned a couple of entries ago, Conversations on the Edge of the Apocalypse. Please check David J. Brown's books out. Lots of stimulating food for thought, and regular readers of this blog, I trust, will be able to see that there are an awful lot of parallels between Dr. Mullis's ideas about reality and my own. As I've said many times, these unexpected connections between people from radically different backgrounds who all seem to be heading towards the same central set of ideas is a major theme of my project. Are you more fifth dimensional? Are you tuned in to the probability space that opens before you and taking joy in the tiny moments of synchronicity and intuition that just might be glimpses of a wider, more fifth dimensional perspective? That's the question for today. And that's all for today's blog entry. From Rob Bryanton, Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog. Enjoy the journey.